a certain number of North Korean IT specialists were educated in the Federation of Russia, also in Asia, including Bangladesh, were attacked by North Korean IT specialists. We speak here about dozens of millions of dollars which were raised by these IT North Korean specialists and which amount are globally coming back to the North Korean regime.
우크라이나의 참호 속에서 북한군인이 발견되고 있습니다. 이 충격적인 현실의 배후에는 러시아와의 위험한 거래가 있습니다. 북한은 러시아에 군인과 무기를 제공하고 그 대가로 국제사회의 제재를 비웃듯이 러시아와 금융 시스템을 연동하고 러시아에서 훈련받은 IT 인력들을 통해 암호화폐라는 새로운 형태의 현금까지 확보하고 있습니다. 국제 제재를 무력화시키는 검은 돈의 파이프라인이 구축된 것입니다. 폴란드 사회과학 아카데미의 니콜라스 레비 교수는 이 모든 과정을 추적해온 연구자입니다. 그는 이번 전쟁이 북한에 가져다주는 이익이 우리가 상상하는 것 이상으로 다양하고 치밀하다고 일깨웁니다. 지금부터 레비 교수의 분석을 통해 우크라이나 러시아 전쟁이 어떻게 북한의 군사, 경제, 심지어 김정은 정치 체제 자체를 고도화시키고 있는지 그 위험한 실체를 파헤쳐 보겠습니다.
I am an assistant professor at the Polish Academy of Science at the Institute of Mediterranean and Oriental Culture. Discuss about the main topic of our discussion is related to the presence of the North Korean army in the conflict, which is opposing the Federation of Russia and Ukraine. The conflict between these two countries started on the 24 February 2022.
About North Korea, Russia rapprochement, and then better relationship. Now they are de facto or de jure military alliance. They are allies, for the having war together. And then Russia actually provide quite of economic resources, for North Korea. To compensate those sacrifice of tens of thousands of soldiers in the Ukraine-Russian war front, right?
The most important element, which is at the basis of the support, let me say, from Russia to North Korea, is based on the fact that Russia is providing a certain quantity of raw materials to North Korea, including petroleum products, which are important for the maintenance of the energetical sector of North Korea. Unfortunately, due to the opacity of the North Korean state, it is impossible to determine which quantities of energy are provided to Pyongyang and which amount of money does it represent. On the other side, we can consider that this energetical support is used for North Korean military companies and factories, which, based on this energetical support, are able to produce higher quantities of ammunition, of military technologies, which are later sent to Russia. In other words, this Russian support is bringing not only some benefits to the North Korean state, but also to Russian military capabilities. Most important resources which are expected from Pyongyang are resources which are fundamental for the existence of the North Korean regime. These resources are, from one side, the raw materials that we mentioned, and on the other side, the other important element are financial assets which are transmitted to North Korea. The form of these financial assets are either cash or banking transfers. Why banking transfers? We already know that from Russia has a specific banking systems which is complying with the North Korean banking system. This financial and cash support is especially important for the North Korean leadership, as these amounts are collected by the North Korean leadership. What I mean by leadership consists of the most important families, not only the Kim one, there are several other families who are raising this amount in a case of a collapse of the North Korean state.
All right. Then, you are the expert of North Korea's cryptocurrency subject. And I read, some of your writings on it. And what about those cryptocurrency related to North Korea and Russia? And Russia might help, North Korea to get on the, cryptocurrency technologies and then, market too?
There is an important cooperation in the context of these illegal operations involving the cryptocurrency, let's say, sub-industry, where a certain number of North Korean IT specialists were educated in the Federation of Russia, and a certain number of these North Korean specialists were also working in Russia. It has been proven that several IT systems, not only in South Korea, but also in Europe, including Poland, also in Asia, including Bangladesh, were attacked by North Korean IT specialists. We speak here about dozens of millions of dollars which were raised by these IT North Korean specialists, and which amount are globally coming back to the North Korean regime.
Right. And this is a very big question, for the students of North Korean politics, where those human resources, say, the hackers and the engineering scientists or developers get education. And then you say Russia is one of the educating, institutional, the ground for the North Korean hackers or North Korean developers.
There is a certain number of education programs which are realized between North Korea and a certain number of foreign states, not only Russia and China. However, there are more and more countries which are thinking about making forbidden some specific fields of education to North Koreans. So those North Koreans are not going to be able to get a fundamental knowledge. As an answer, in the previous years, the North Korean state invited to Pyongyang a certain number of foreign specialists by organizing some cryptocurrency conference and so on. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, these conferences did no more take place, and also a certain number of these foreign specialists, when getting back from North Korea, were arrested, especially in the US. In other words, I do think that the education of these North Korean IT specialists will be mainly realized in the country with which North Korea is establishing treaty of education cooperation. And these countries are not only Russia and China, but I guess also Vietnam.
전사한 군인의 유해를 맞으며 눈물을 흘리는 김정은 위원장의 모습, 과거 파병 사실을 부인하던 모습과 정반대입니다. 이제 북한은 참전을 숨기지 않고 오히려 영웅적인 선사로 포장하고 있습니다. 이러한 변화의 중심에는 김정은의 빨치산이라는 새로운 개념이 있습니다. 할아버지 김일성이 항일 빨치산 동지들을 핵심 엘리트 그룹으로 삼아 체제를 공고히 했던 것처럼 김정은 역시 우크라이나 참전 세대를 자신만의 새로운 친위 세력으로 만들고 있는 것입니다. 결국 우크라이나 러시아 전쟁은 머나먼 유럽의 비극으로 끝나지 않습니다. 이 전쟁은 북한에게 실전 전투 경험을 학습한 뒤인데 제재를 뚫는 외화벌이 수단 그리고 북한 정권에게 충성할 새로운 세대의 엘리트까지 안겨주고 있습니다. 러시아와의 결탁을 통해 더 강해지는 북한 그리고 김정은의 빨치산이라는 새로운 칼자루를 쥔 그가 앞으로 한반도와 세계에 어떤 안보 변화를 만들려고 할까요? 우리는 아주 면밀하게 분석해봐야 합니다.